Today, I'm going to be talking about 5 different things that I think need to change in Stranger Things, or what I think they need to do, I guess, but I titled it change. Either way, 5 things the Duffer Brothers need to do / change in season 5 for it to be the perfect season. Before we get into it, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord. Today is going to be a interesting video and probably gonna spark a lot of opinions in the comments, but without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, the first thing I want them to do in season 5, or not the first thing, but one thing I want them to change / do in season 5 is just give us some closure with certain storylines. Number 1, the Russian storyline. I feel like there's a lot of open-ended things and questions with that storyline and like what they're up to, what do they know, are they going to be a factor in season 5? Is it over with because Hopper escaped? Are they going to try to go find Hopper again? Are they going to try to find 11? Are they going to be involved with the military? How is that going to play out in season 5? Are we just going to completely disregard them? I feel like there needs to be some sort of closure on that no matter which route they go. And with the Callie storyline in season 2, episode 7, I feel like there still needs to be some closure with that, whether it's a flashback, a hallucination, she returns and dies, or returns and is the hero, or returns and is a villain, whatever it is. I feel like there's just a few storylines that have happened that we need some closure on. And obviously there's like other storylines that we're gonna get closure on that, like, you know, we're gonna get sort of like the Will Byers sexuality storyline, we're gonna get an answer to that. Max's coma storyline, we're gonna get an answer to that. But with the Callie storyline and with the Russian storyline, we don't really know which direction they're gonna go. But either way, I feel like personally for season 5 to be perfect, we need to get closure in some sort of way for those 2 storylines for me to be like 100% happy. And obviously I'm not going to be 100% happy for season, like at the end of season 5. I'm not going to be 100% satisfied. It's still going to be amazing, but they're not going to do everything I ask, obviously. But if it was my choice, I would have to say that I would want closure on those 2 storylines. So that's the first thing I want them to change / do in the final season. The second thing is something we've talked about a lot on this channel and on TikTok, and what the community has talked about a lot, but it needs to be talked about again, because if it doesn't happen, it's flat out going to ruin the season for me, at least to an extent. And that is, there needs to be higher stakes for the main characters. Someone needs to die, and that is not an argument, that is just a fact. Someone absolutely needs to die in season 5 just to make it feel like there's been real stakes this entire time. Their lives actually have been in danger and they haven't just lucked out every single time. And I feel like to talk about this discussion, we have to talk about like what classifies as a main character. And for me, honestly, the lowest level of main character that I feel like needs to die, you know, I don't classify Murray as like a main character. You know, he's a character and he's a part of the show, but he's not a main character. I feel like the lowest level of main character we have is like Jonathan, Nancy, Steve, like outside of the kids, honestly, Joyce, Hopper, like those, that level. One of those people, one of the main kids, you know, Joyce, Hopper, Lucas, Dustin, Mike, Will, 11, Nancy, Jonathan, and Steve. One of those characters needs to die. Those are the main characters in my eyes. If none of those characters die, I feel like there's gonna be a lot left on the table when season 5 ends, and we're gonna be like, well, what the hell? Why didn't, you know, why was it, what was the point of all this if none of those characters died? Like, yeah, Karen died or Murray died, whatever, but we want to see, not we want to see, but like, you know, I feel like we want to feel that this mattered, that there was stakes, that this was dangerous, that Vecna was trying to kill them all and everything. So that's personally the second thing that I think should change in season 5. We need those main characters to be in high stakes situations, to be in real danger, to actually die. And I'm not saying kill all of them, but like 1 or 2, whatever, 5, no, I'm kidding. But, you know, I feel like one of those characters needs to bite the bullet, and I think they'll do it. But I'm not positive, honestly, because there was rumors in last summer that none of the characters are gonna die. You know, all of them are safe, which I personally did not like hearing. But I did see a lot of tweets where it's like, these characters are safe, but this one, like, it's still on the edge. We don't know, blah, 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 blah. So there is some blurry area conversation around that topic. Number 3 is sort of a hot take and going to be a little bit controversial, I feel like, or maybe you guys will agree with me. I have no idea like how you guys will take this, but It's a unique opinion, but I feel like we need to spice this up a little bit. So my number 3 thing that I think they need to change is rely less on nostalgia and old Stranger Things vibes and sort of separate season 5 from the rest of the seasons. When, you know, when I'm saying that, I'm saying like when we watch season 5, we should watch it and be like, holy shit, that's the best. It's not even close. And it was different. It was bigger. People died. There was more monsters. The CGI was better. Whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there just needs to be a little bit more uniqueness to season 5, sort of how there was in season 4. Like season 4 was a lot different from season 3, you know. But I feel like there was still some similar vibes as far as like no main characters dying and this, that, and the other. I don't know where I'm sort of going with this, but I feel like season 5 just needs to feel more grand. It needs to feel more important. It needs to feel more unique. The production needs to be unbelievable, and we need to be shitting our pants, for lack of a better term. Like literally, that's what I want to be feeling like in season 5, and I sort of got that in season 4, but I want that times 10 in season 5. That's what I want. I want season 5 to totally separate itself from the previous 4 seasons as the best season as far as production, at least, or story. You know, you can have your favorites or everything, but like objectively, I want season 5 to be head and shoulders above the rest of the seasons, and that's what I want them to change. That's the third thing I want them to change or do. Like, be more unique with season 5. Make it stand out in its own way. That's a lot of yapping for something that didn't really make a lot of sense, but I hope you guys know where I'm going with that. And I feel like they'll definitely do it. I feel like it's going to be similar to what I was just talking about. Number 4 is more of a thing they need to do, not really change. I guess sort of change, but they need to live up to their word when they're talking about the Upside Down. Like the Duffers have said, they have this 52-page book or whatever about the Upside Down lore, and through 4 seasons, they've gone through like 15 to 20 pages or whatever they said. I don't know, it was in an interview, in an article on Google. I don't know how accurate it was. Either way, they said they haven't even touched the lore in the Upside Down. So if that's the case, they need to give us some sort of answer and closure with the Upside Down, even though I know they're going to do spin-offs and they want to make this a universe. But for the main show, for season 5, the show that over 50 million people have watched, there needs to be some sort of closure and answer with the Upside Down and what it is and how it was created and all this stuff. They need to answer it somehow rather than answering it in a spin-off. Because out of those 50 million people, say there's 50 million people who've watched Stranger Things, maybe it's 100 million, whatever. I would say at least 50% of those people will not watch spin-offs, you know, of Stranger Things. Maybe they will, but I feel like, you know, that's fair to assume. Not everybody's going to watch the spin-offs. So if they really do have that many pages of Upside Down lore, it needs to be somewhat answered in season 5. And they need to give us some sort of clarity on what they were talking about when they said, oh yeah, we haven't even dove deep into the Upside Down lore. Like, we have a lot to discover in season 5. Well, if that's the case, then we need to discover in season 5. We need to see what you're talking about when you're talking about the Upside Down is still so mysterious. There's this answer, like who created it? How was it created? Is it being controlled? Is it, you know, whatever. There's so many different questions about it, but those questions, at least to an extent, some of them have to be answered to give us some sort of closure, because I'm sort of going to throw this in there for number 4. Like, there needs to be a definitive ending. You know what I'm saying? It can't be, like, it's the final season. There needs to be a definitive ending. We need to watch it and be like, okay, it's over. We know this, this, and this, and this. I don't have many questions. I have a few questions or speculations or whatever, but for the most part, I feel satisfied. It's over. And that's how we need to feel after we discovered the Upside Down in season 5. We need to know the answers of what our questions are right now. We needed to know those answers. And so that's number 4. We need to know the answers of the deep Upside Down lore that they were referring to in that interview. Okay, there's like 10 things I could touch on right now. I'm going to touch on one thing and then go into my number 5. So I guess this is an honorable mention, but the ships that are happening, all of them need to be definitive in season 5, obviously. I feel like that's self-explanatory, but this Stancy shit, like in Jancy and, you know, the love triangle, that needs to be solved. Everything needs to be solved, and there needs to be left no questions whatsoever as far as the ships go. That's self-explanatory, but I feel like I wanted to throw that in there. For my number 5, and this doesn't really have to do with the actual show, but it sort of does. The marketing for Stranger Things Season 5 has been atrocious. and arguably embarrassing for how massive Netflix is and how insanely huge Stranger Things is. The marketing has been god awful, in my opinion. Like, flat out disgustingly bad. You know, I mean, you can hate on me all you want. Hopefully Netflix executives aren't watching this video, because I want to work with Netflix, and I love Netflix. I love Stranger Things. I love everything about it. But it's flat out the truth. They've been lackluster with the promotion of season 5, and I understand it's so far away, this, that, and the other, but you have millions of fans. One tweet a day is not hard. Ask Grok to help you come up with the tweet. Ask ChatGPT, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to tweet once a day, and they haven't done that. They did it for a few days after the teaser dropped, and now they're dead silent again. So for season 5, and I'm not even really talking, I'm talking about, like, you know, season 5 releases November 26th, Christmas Day, and New Year's Eve, okay? So I expect there to be daily tweets and videos on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter for Stranger Things social media accounts starting on Stranger Things Day, November 6th. Before that, honestly, I don't even care, and I don't expect anything. But whenever Stranger Things Day happens on November 6th, and that hype is 20 days away, and we're about to see the final season of all time for Stranger Things, there better be tweets every single day, clues, hints, teasers, pictures, interaction with fans, this, that. Like, there needs to be social media activity to get the hype up. I'm gonna do the best I can. You know, I got over 100 million views for Stranger Things season 4 in just that 2-month time span. Okay, me, a TikToker, a random TikToker and YouTuber, whatever. I did 100 million views. Stranger Things Twitter accounts could do billions in just that month if they just did it. And that's all I'm asking for. My 5th gripe that I think they need to change in /do for season 5 isn't even about the show. It's the marketing of the show. It needs to be grand. It needs to feel like the final season. It needs to feel flamboyant. It needs to feel, you know, any adjective you can think of. It needs to feel that way. It needs to feel like it's the biggest thing of all time in TV, because it will be. So it needs to feel that way. They need to make it feel that way. So that's my number 5. They need to change up the marketing. They need to do better. And I know they know that. I just hope they do it. And Netflix, if you're listening, ask me to do stuff, because I will do it. I'm already going to do it. So I'll do it even more if you ask. So I'm going to be doing my best. Other creators are going to be doing their best. Like TikTok, there's so many creators making Stranger Things content. All I ask is that Stranger Things social media managers do their part. Those are the 5 things I wanted to talk about today of things they need to change /do in season 5. I feel like most of them are pretty reasonable, not that crazy to talk about, not that crazy to ask for, but maybe they are crazy and, you know, I'm just a lunatic. But let me know what you guys think about my opinions and my gripes, I guess. They aren't even that big of ask, honestly. Like, asking them to be active on Twitter for a month or for 2 months is nothing. That's nothing. So let me know what you guys would want to change /do/see in season 5 in the comments. And if you agree with my hot takes, if you don't agree, let me know. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.